See if we can get this to work. It's always a crapshoot. You never know.
Yo.
Yo, how's it going?
Working?
How's it going with you?
It's going good. Can you hear me?
Yep. Let me turn my side up so I can hear a little bit better. I'd like to introduce you to and everybody who's viewing. This is Jason Wisdom. He is the mastermind, lead singer, bassist of the band Death Therapy. Thank you for joining us tonight.
I don't know if mastermind is the right word, but
You're mastermind.
some kind of mind.
Mastermind.
We can go with that for now. I'll take it.
You can put that on your business card. Mastermind of all things musical.
You sell business cards too? Man, you sell everything.
I could do everything.
Awesome.
You need a business card with your name on it. You could put mastermind. You could put whatever you want on it and hand it out. People will believe it.
Awesome.
Nice. Where'd you end up finding Wi-Fi at?
Oh, I'm actually at home. We just got back from Mexico. Played a festival in Mexico, but we were kind of running around doing stuff, so just got home.
Nice.
The Wi-Fi
Nice.
at home is
How was Mexico?
pretty sketchy, but I think it'll work.
How was Mexico? Did you find a nice beach to relax on?
No, I wish. No, we were playing at a place about 2 hours outside of Mexico City. That's on the festival takes place on the side of a volcano, which is pretty rad.
Did you actually go see the volcano?
I mean, we were on the volcano, so it's just like a mountain, I guess, unless there's lava spewing out. But yeah, it was fun. We've done that a couple years in a row. It's a festival that happens down there. This year, POD was the headlining band. So
nice, Mr. Sunny and Woov and all those guys down there rocking out.
Yep, totally.
Nice. They didn't have you come on and do any like guest vocals?
No, I don't think they know I exist. That's
yet.
okay.
Not yet.
That's okay. Not yet. Yeah. 20 years into this, I'm gonna make it one day.
Not yet. Maybe their next album, they'll contact you. Be like, hey, we played with this guy at this festival in Mexico, and he was pretty killer.
Totally.
Maybe we should ask him to come on.
Yeah, totally.
Nice. So for anybody who's viewing, this is Jason Wisdom. He's the lead singer, bassist for the band Death Therapy. They just came out with a new album about a week or so ago called Voices. That is pretty phenomenal, in my opinion. I know everybody has mixed opinions on it, but my opinion, it is phenomenal.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
My opinion, it's all right.
Yeah. I bet you have to have your own opinion because it's your music, so I hope you have a good opinion on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I think people probably would think it sounds tacky to say that, like, I'm a fan of my own music. But I think that's probably the way it should be. Like, yeah, you probably shouldn't make art that you don't like.
Exactly.
You know? So
and
I'm just making stuff that I want to hear, so.
I've met some bands and some people that are like, we like the album, it's okay, but we just had to put it out. When you get to that point, you might as well not even do it. If you have that sort of attitude behind it, like if you're not excited about listening to your own music or playing it and you're just there to be there, there's no really point in it. So
well, if you're the Rolling Stones, then it probably makes sense because at this point, I mean, you probably don't even remember your previous albums. So,
and they're making enough money. Why would they care? They're
why would
we
they
sold
care?
out a stadium. Let's move on with our next whoever we're playing next at. So
Totally.
Nice. So we like to always kind of start out our virtual coffee breaks with kind of some rapid fire, fun questions. It's off the cuff. I think of some. Sometimes my daughters, if they know who I'm talking to, they chime in and will ask kind of like a random weird question.
All right.
So we just some are just family related. Some are just like fun, just kind of weird kind of questions. So do you drink coffee? And if so, what's your coffee of choice? We always ask that one because this is the virtual coffee break. So we start out with that.
No, man, I'm guilty of being that guy that, like, if you see somebody walking around with a cup of coffee in their hand, like, you think, oh wow, that person's really cultured. But if you see me walking around with like a Dr. Pepper in my hand at 8:30 in the morning, you're gonna be like, wow, that guy is a redneck. And
you're from the South, though.
That's
right.
Yeah, I'm from the South. So
see, when we lived down in Houston, Dr. Pepper was everywhere. You could find it anywhere. People did that. So it's a South thing. We got used to it. But you come up here to Minnesota, you don't see Dr. Pepper anywhere, and people are like, what's Dr. Pepper? They just
really,
drink Coke.
that's actually a tragedy. I think we should probably cancel the rest of this interview and try to figure out how to fix that problem.
Well, I got Dr. Pepper in my fridge right here. So see, there you
Okay,
go.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So you don't drink coffee. So what's your drink of choice is Dr. Pepper?
I mean, coffee's all right. I never got to be like a big coffee drinker. So, to me, coffee's more of like if I need it kind of thing. Yeah. So I know that's disappointing to some people, but I'm not a brew master. I have friends that are like, they have these like whole chemical sets that they use to make their crazy coffee contraptions with. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not anywhere on that level.
Yeah. You just want a cup of coffee and
Cup of coffee to keep me
good,
going,
it
or
works.
a Coke, which you said I'm from the South, so for those who are from Atlanta, which is near where I live, everything's Coke because this is the home of Coca-Cola. So when you go into a restaurant, you'll say, I want a Coke, and they'll say, what kind?
Everybody up here calls them soda.
Yeah.
Not because we're Minnesota, but they're like, what kind of soda do you want?
Soda.
Okay.
Soda pop.
Yeah. So, all right. You're married. How long have you been married for?
Oh, gosh. Now I'm going to get in trouble for not knowing the answer to that.
For the moment.
11 years, almost 12 years.
How many kids?
I have 2 kids, a 7-year-old son and a daughter who's actually, her birthday is tomorrow. She's really excited right now. She's going to be 4. So
hopefully you got your birthday presents and you got the unicorn cake all lined up and you're ready to go.
The reason I was possibly going to be late for this is we were busy buying like purple and pink frosting and other things. So
nice.
It's going down.
So
it's a pretty heavy metal thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. Last minute. That's how we work. That's how it rolls when you're parents.
Yep, totally.
Nice. Next question is, when you were growing up, what's your favorite board game?
Oh, man.
Were you a board game fan or a card game fan?
Okay, so I'm going to take this question and go a little bit of a different direction with it because it's important to me to answer this. I grew up playing just like corny, normal 90s kid board games like Sorry and Trouble and stuff. Not to say those are bad, but I actually became a super board game nerd later in life. So I love to play like super in-depth strategy board games like Catan, Stone Age, and Scythe, and all kinds of that kind of stuff. So I actually have tried to raise my kids correctly, and have gotten lots of, I guess you could call them nerdy strategy games, like children's versions. So yeah, I'm a board game. I love board games, and I grew up on video games more than board games or card games, which is reflected in my music. But yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, because people say that if you teach your kids to play strategy games, they grow up and have a better perspective of strategy in life and how to present different situations and how to tackle different situations. So if you're teaching them that now, I think we're succeeding as parents, so that when they get older, they can figure out things on their own without having too much help.
No, I'm just trying to turn them into weird, awkward homeschool kids. Because we homeschool our kids, so I'm not trying to like take a stab at anybody, but yeah.
Did you play, here's the next question. Did you play video games? And if so, what was your favorite original NES game? Like Nintendo, original, not Sega, but NES, Nintendo.
Yeah, okay, so yes, I played a ton of video games. I've made it like a thing in my music. Both albums have instrumentals that are tributes to classic video games. Okay?
That's why I threw that in there. That's kind of like a little teaser.
For the people who don't know, the original Mario is always going to hold a special place. Super Mario 3 is probably my favorite game for the regular NES, because I think if I'm not mistaken, Super Mario 3 is the best-selling video game of all time.
That's not the direction when I was thinking about your music. The direction I was thinking about is more like Mega Man themed stuff, because it has that real dark kind of cosmic-y edge to it, and that's why I was like, wonder if he's a Mega Man fan.
Yeah, and Mega Man 3 is my favorite of the Mega Man series, and I love Mega Man. But I probably played more like of the original Legend of Zelda or Super Mario than
I see the Zelda. I hear the Zelda influence in it.
Well, that comes from when I got older and I played a lot of like Super NES, which is, I think, the best video game system of all time. So,
Yeah, for sure. All right, these are some of the touring questions. Favorite food when on the road touring?
favorite food
Like,
when on the
what's
road
your
tour?
go-to fast food place? Like.
Oh man, the go-to fast food places. That's hard to say. I'm kind of a food nerd, so like I want to go places that I can't go when I'm home. So I always like to try to find like the local place that's like not, not McDonald's or something. But I mean,
Chipotle,
yeah, not the
Sonic,
normal stuff. So I
Chick-fil-A.
try to go get something different. So like whenever we're up in Wisconsin or something, we always try to go find a local place to get cheese curds. And whenever we're in, what should we eat when we're in Minnesota? Where do we go?
Burgers, Juicy Lucy's.
Yeah, actually, okay. So we did that last time we were there. Yeah, we went.
Pizza's a big thing. A lot of places have kind of different styles of pizzas. So a lot of different versions of pizzas around here that people really dig and kind of put their own twist on. So
Yeah, but we've done the
pizza's
Juicy Lucy thing when we were in Minnesota.
do you ever, because you tour so much, you're around Atlanta, do you ever partake in a bunch of different barbecue places and kind of compare and contrast like Atlanta Southern barbecue there compared to the like Texas barbecue to the Kansas City barbecue, and then you can have like this reference like these like for sure Atlanta barbecue is the best barbecue.
Well, I actually, when I was a teenager, I grew up in North Carolina, so I'm partial to North Carolina vinegar-based barbecue. But I just like barbecue in general. So, yeah, I mean, we do definitely try to hit up barbecue stands, barbecue joints, burger
Maybe
places.
start a whole
Things.
YouTube channel, Jason Wisdom
Yeah,
meets barbecue, and
totally.
then you just go barbecue bonanza.
That channel would almost certainly be more successful than my music.
Hey, whatever works.
So I could try to pay the bills by getting fat, eating barbecue,
All
and
right.
then make music.
If you could this was a question that the next on the list. If you could barbecue any roadkill you've passed, what would it be?
Oh gosh. I mean,
Like
I don't see a whole
deer,
lot of,
possum.
I don't see a whole lot of appetizing roadkill. So I'm gonna have to go with like if there's a deer that was roadkill but not particularly mangled, and I had to eat, I could maybe try to figure that one out.
Alligator, turtle.
Yeah,
There's a lot of different.
I don't think if I see an alligator on the side of the road, no matter how dead it appears, I don't think I'm going near it. I'm not stopping to pick up an alligator.
Nice. What's the best? Can you recall your favorite gas station you've ever stopped at, like while on the road?
Oh, I mean,
One that you're
Sheets up in the northeast coast. I mean, anybody who lives in that area who's traveled through there knows that Sheets is the best gas station that exists.
What about have you stopped at the Buc-ee's in
Yeah,
Texas?
Bucky's is pretty awesome. I'll say Bucky's probably gives Sheets a run for its money, but Bucky's I feel like is more of like a truck stop than a gas station.
But they
I
don't
know
allow
that's
trucks.
huh?
They don't allow trucks though. No
They
truckers.
don't?
No truckers. It's only passenger
Okay.
vehicles.
Man, I just got schooled on Bucky's, so I'm gonna have to back up and reevaluate my life now because I could swear every time I've been to a Bucky's,
Sheets is more gas station-esque. They're smaller, but Buc-ee's
right.
is, to my opinion, it's more like a supermarket meets a gas station.
Okay, maybe
That's how I kind of compare it.
yeah,
I've seen
maybe that's
Sheets
why
went
I
up
always
there.
thought. Maybe that's why I always thought they were like truck stops because they're so much like a supermarket or a truck stop kind of thing that I just put them in that category. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Bucky's goes up there with Sheets and Wawa, and of course where I live, we got QT is a big deal. But yeah.
Nice. Okay, what is your, if you could play for any band, past or present, and be part of their kind of iconic lineup, what would it be?
Man.
Like if you were to just be like sitting at home right now, like with getting royalty checks from any band, big, small, whatever.
I mean, obviously, if I was just going to be getting royalty checks, I'd sign up to be in the Beatles. You know, but you know, my favorite band of all time, still to this day, I think is Five Iron Frenzy. And while I'm probably not musically capable to hang with those guys, they would be a blast to play with, and I actually have friends in that band. But yeah.
If anybody sees this and they have connections with Five Iron Frenzy and they're going on tour and they need an opening band, I think the Death Therapy Five Iron Frenzy tour would be pretty epic.
I don't know how we would go over with the Five Iron crowd, but maybe.
Hey, you can convert a bunch of them.
Yeah, we could try.
So when you're on the road and you're driving, what do you do to keep busy? Like, what is your go-to thing? You listen to music? Are you a podcast guy? Are you like dead silent and just focused?
No, can't be dead silent. Honestly, I'm a conversational like driver. So I love podcasts and I listen to a lot of that kind of stuff. But for me, if I'm getting tired, I got to talk to somebody. So, a couple of the dudes who've been on the road with me are like the kind of people who fall asleep immediately when it's late and they're tired. And that does not work well for me. I need to solve all the world's problems while I'm driving if it's late, which doesn't work as well anymore because it used to be back in the day, we would have conversations and like we would just speculate about all kinds of crap that we don't even know. But now people can just Google it. So it kind of kills a lot of the conversations and a lot of the fun of being on the road and just like, for lack of a better term, like BSing about stuff.
It's like, who hit the most home runs or who did this? And they're like, you just I think it was such and such. Now you can just Google search it or Siri, ask Siri, and she just tells you the answer to it like in 2 seconds.
Let's think of the top 20 best comedies. Oh man, what was that one with that guy? And we would just talk for hours on the road. But now you just Google it and you can find the answers. But yeah, that's the way I roll on the road. I got to talk.
Yeah, I'm someone who stays awake quite a bit and kind of keeps people company. So if you need someone to keep you company on the road, you can give me a call. You can come pick me up. Yeah, I convinced my wife to let me leave.
If you like coming out on the road and losing a lot of money, then you can come with us.
Well, maybe I can help you.
Just how we roll.
Maybe I can help you make money.
Hey, I'm all for that. We can start up a mobile apparel shop on the road.
Nice. So, are you a sports guy at all?
Yeah, man.
What's your go-to sport or sports?
All right, so I live in Georgia, so the sport of choice is football, like college football.
So Bulldogs.
Yeah, college football. I live really close to Athens, where that's at. But we also have the Braves, and
they're gonna do okay this year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe if the Phillies hadn't gotten so good. But
no, the Phillies just spent like $300 million on Mr.
Right.
Harper, so that's the only reason why that they're going to be decent.
Right, which is something that no Atlanta team will ever do. But
no one should spend that much money on anybody.
Yeah,
especially Superman.
I also, this is the surprising part because you want to give the breaking news to people here on this interview is I love golf. I used to play golf in college and high school, and so it was a pretty big deal what happened last weekend. And
Mr. Woods,
two weekends ago. Yeah. 2 weekends ago. It was a pretty big deal. I mean, I tried to tell some of my friends who were like not into golf. I'm like, it's kind of like if Michael Jordan came out of retirement and won a championship. I mean, it's not the same thing.
Actually, a lot of people are comparing because it's been like 11 years.
Right.
I mean, it's like Michael Phelps not swimming for 8 years and then coming back and winning a gold in the 100 freestyle or whatever. It's totally
well, and also having like 7 back surgeries in between. you know?
He pretty much has half his back fused together right now, and he still can hit a 330-yard drive pretty consistently.
Totally. We should probably not talk about golf for very long, or
we're going to lose all our followers. See, I could talk golf. I like golf. I like sports, so I'm in the same boat as you. Just strap the golf clubs to the top of the tour van, and we'll sell merch, and then we'll do a podcast where we eat barbecue and we go golfing.
Totally. That sounds like a winner all the way around.
Eat barbecue while golfing.
Yep. The or the loser buys barbecue.
So anybody who's joined us right now, this is Jason Wisdom. He's the, if you don't read down below, he's the lead singer and bassist for the band Death Therapy. Actually, he was the former lead singer and bassist for another band that I love Becoming the Archetype. That's how I kind of fell in love with his style of music, because if you're a big metalhead like me, then you like all things metal, and Become the Archetype had an epic sound to it. I kind of put on my notes here, one of the songs that would hype myself up before I'd go out and play softball was from the I Am album from Become the Archetype, and it was the Time Bender. I've told anybody who's everybody, if you're a football player, you crank that up in your locker room and your guys are going to go out and break necks.
Awesome, man.
So, like, I love that album. That was a pretty
sweet. Well,
album.
that's the one album I'm not on, you jerk.
You're not on that one?
Nope. I quit in 2010, and they did that record in 2013. So that was a different vocalist and bass player. So I just changed your whole reality.
Well, I still like that album.
I didn't. No, I think it's a great album. Actually,
I like all the Becoming the Archetype, but that's the one song that like I just like look back on and I had it on repeat.
No, it's one of my favorite songs. Actually, I mean, I was a big fan of that record. I helped them write lyrics for that record, so like I'm not at all salty about that. I just was giving you a hard time. Every year around Christmas time, people will send me messages saying, "Hey man, I'm listening to the BTA Christmas song, Oh Holy Night," and I'm like, I'm so happy, but that was not me. So, it is what it is.
So tell everybody what your new album just came out, Voices. For people who are unfamiliar with your style of music and have never heard it before, give people a little snippet, a little taste of what style of music, what...
You want me to sing a song? Dude, sure. That's so awkward.
Can you do like a basic acoustic style?
What?
Instagram won't let me play a song in the background because then it's thinking it's like copyrighted, and then this won't be able to be posted because they like content everything, and it's dumb. So
I wonder if I could post it since it actually says Death Therapy. Anyway, we won't talk about that. But you want me to give people
just a little snippet, like what style of music it is, because you guys have your kind of unique sound that isn't like your stereotypical metal. Like how would you categorize it?
If you would like a combination of like my old band Becoming the Archetype mixed with like Project 86 mixed with like some like more electronic music, then you would probably like Death Therapy. It's hard for me to put my finger on what style to say. We usually call it groove metal or electronic groove metal.
That was what I was going to say. You've said it before, like on your post, like what kind it is, and it's like groove metal.
And that's it's all based around. There's no guitar in Death Therapy, so that's the significant thing. It's all bass guitar and drums and electronic stuff. So that's important for people to know when they listen to it. I mean, somebody just said 9 Inch Nails. I mean, yeah, totally. I just, 9 Inch Nails plus Rage Against the Machine. I mean, there's all kinds of bands you can throw into a blender and say, but at the end of the day, the deal with Death Therapy is like, I don't really care about what genre it is. I'm just trying to write music that sounds cool to me. And I think it mostly comes across as like groovy, experimental, electronic, So if people like that kind of stuff, or, I really think if people who just like heavy music in general would give it a shot, I think they would like it, whether they like that style or not.
Yeah, and that's why I like it. It has its own unique style to it, and it's fresh. Like I think when we've talked before, and I started kind of talking with you not too long ago, it's like I really enjoyed your first album because it was fresh. It was something different that you didn't hear every other metal band coming out with, where it's just the same riffs, the same kind of breakdowns, like it had kind of a fresh new sound to it that was kind of like, hey, this is interesting to listen to, because it's not like, okay, oh no, right, I can predict right now it's going to be a breakdown, oh right here's going to be a bass drop, oh right here it's going to be this, like the same kind of over and over stuff that you've heard from a handful of bands and newer bands that are coming out with, or kids who think that they have a new sound and it's really just copycatting what someone else has already done. So
totally. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely trying to blaze a little bit of my own pathway through the woods rather than staying on the highway. And that's fun. And I think it takes a lot of people who like our stuff a little bit deeper on the journey. It also has its liabilities, which is, you know, when everybody's driving down the highway and you turn off and start driving through the woods, a lot of people don't follow you, you know. They tend to go, hey, what's that guy doing? He's a little bit weird and crazy, and we're going to stay right here where we're at, where we're comfortable. So Death Therapy is definitely a, you know, still in the sort of like grassroots phase of our band, trying to just spread the word around, you know, word of mouth. If people like it, tell somebody about it, because they're probably not going to hear about it otherwise. You know, it's not like you're not going to get spammed with a ton of advertisements for Death Therapy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So on the new album, what's your current favorite song to play? What's a song that you really enjoy? Like when it comes up in the set list and you're like really, you said you liked all your music, but that you're really, that's really been speaking to you or really been like on your kind of radar.
Well, you know, we just started playing songs from the new record live. And so far we've been playing 3 songs from it. I won't tell you which ones, but I'll say, the song It's Okay is a lot of fun to play live. It's very different from everything else because it's like an electronic kind of song for the first half of it, and then it gets really heavy. So that makes it really interesting because I feel like a lot of people are looking at us weird for that first like 2.5 minutes, like, oh crap, this isn't heavy.
Yeah.
And then it kind of gets heavy. So, but then we're also playing a song called My Defiance, which is another single that we put out. And I will say that song kicks my butt live. It's a heavy song. It's probably the heaviest song that I've written since I was in Becoming the Archetype. So the heaviest Death Therapy song. So that's a lot of fun to play live. Just when it hits really hard, and I can see people, like we played in Mexico. I just mentioned last weekend, and we had a huge mosh pit for that song. It was like kind of like the whole rest of the set. People kind of just bobbing their heads and stuff, which is normal for a Death Therapy show. We're a head bobbing band more than a head banging band, which is cool, especially for old dads and stuff who don't head bang anymore.
With the My Defiance song, you have a guest artist on that one, don't you?
Yeah.
That's one of the 3 guest artists you have on the song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, on the record, there's 3 people.
Yeah, there's 3 different people that you have kind of guest kind of vocalists that kind of join you for a few of the songs. Yeah,
totally. So the guy who's on the song My Defiance is named Josh Kincheloe. I think I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Kincheloe, I don't know. But he's from a band called Glasslands. And literally, I'm just a fan of the band and his voice. So I wanted him on a song. I mean, I'm super blessed that I got to have #super blessed. I'm super blessed that I got to have 3 people that I really look up to on the album as guest vocalists. Garrett from Silent Planet, Matt from Spoken, and Josh on the song My Defiance. So it's funny because we did a music video for My Defiance, and you know, we're not like Jay-Z, so we don't have money to get all of our guest artists in our music videos. So he's not in the music video, and you can go on like YouTube and read the comments, which I'm not supposed to do because that's the first rule of the internet, right? You don't read your own comments, but I'm sorry that if you heard that was my daughter screaming. She takes after her dad, but
she should be a guest vocalist.
Yeah, my daughter is guest vocalist. But you're not supposed to read the comments, but I can see people saying, "Oh, this is really cool. I guess the drummer must do the clean vocals." And I'm like, no, that's the guest vocalist. But man, we would be working super hard if I was doing the bass guitar and the screaming vocals and my drummer was doing the drums.
And the backup, the clean vocals, the singing vocals. Yeah, that would be.
And he's playing the keyboards with his nose. Yeah, totally.
Nice. I know when you mentioned It's Okay song, and that's personally one of my favorite songs. We've talked about that song a little bit. What can you give anybody a little snippet or glimpse into the meaning behind that song? Because it has kind of like a unique take on it, and it's a positive song with some pretty unique lyrics that kind of clue people in on it's okay not to be not okay.
Yeah,
That's kind of how it goes.
totally. So, so the album is called Voices. That's important to understand because it's a concept album. So within each song, there are oftentimes multiple voices. And I guess the best way to put that would be just sort of like almost like different perspectives being voiced in the song. So that's one of the reasons also I wanted to have guest vocalists, because they can actually represent literal different voices. But the song It's Okay starts in a very dark place. It's a person. The voice is basically saying, you don't know what it's like to be me. You don't know what it's like to struggle. You don't know what it's like to feel alone. You don't know what it's like to suffer, et cetera, et cetera. So don't try to tell me it's okay. So it's basically the perspective of a person who's tired of having a bunch of religious people or Christian people with their phony smiles on, sort of saying, hey, you know, just get over it. It'll all be okay. Which is, I feel like, what a lot of people who, like me, grew up in the South probably felt like growing up. It's like you just put on a smile and you pretend everything's okay, and you can't talk about it's not okay, like if you're not okay. So then halfway through the song, it switches perspectives to a different voice, and it's the voice of Jesus, basically saying, you know, that's the reason I came, that's the reason I died, that's the reason I gave my blood, so that I could tell you that it's okay to not be okay. And so the idea isn't that, like, it's okay to just stay where you're at. That's not the point. The point is, like, when you come to Christ, you don't have to clean up your house to invite Jesus over first. You know what I mean? Jesus will come over and visit, even if your house is a mess. So that's actually kind of how it works. So
that's awesome. That's what I love about that song. It starts in a dark place, but it ends with the concept of hope, and like where your Jesus is still, like you said, you almost present that idea. It's like Jesus saying, hey, it's okay if you're not okay. Like I came here to make that.
It's basically it's in a nutshell. It's just where Jesus. I don't remember what the verse is, where he says, like, he didn't come for the people who are well. He came for the people who are sick.
Yeah.
So like it's like it's okay to be sick. That's actually what he's here for. So nobody goes to the doctor and says, like, oh, hey, I'm sorry, I'm sick. Like, that's why you go to the doctor.
Yeah. I was trying to look something up real fast.
You can pull up the reference.
Yeah. I think maybe not.
You didn't bust out your KJV study Bible? Come on, man.
No, I thought I posted
Come
something
on
one of my verse of the days that was in reference to that, but I think it was something I just read that I was going to post. So, but anyways, what I love about the album, both albums that you guys have put out so far, Death Therapy has put out, is the last two songs on each album. And I kind of wanted to ask you this because I'm kind of a music nerd. So the first album you guys did, for The Storm Before the Calm, you had the last two songs were an instrumental song that led into kind of like a song kind of with lyrics. And then on the new album, you did something similar where you had an instrumental song that led into a song with lyrics. Do you like the aspect, here's kind of the first part, do you like the aspect of composing music more and writing music? Because I know some of the songs, like you have like a kind of a digital kind of NES style fun composed song, but then you have like song 8 or 9 that's very, it almost seems kind of like cinematic, like motion picture soundtrack. Like, do you like writing that type of music where you can sit down and add lots of elements and pieces to kind of create this kind of cinematic piece?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, so I think that actually I can answer both questions at the same time. So the video game stuff to me is actually kind of cinematic. So it fits in that same category. I mean, I grew up playing lots of old video games, and the music is amazing. Like, if you were to take those 8-bit things and put them onto, like, you know, orchestral instruments, some of that music is unbelievably epic, and old Final Fantasy games and old even Mega Man and stuff. But like track number 8, which is part 1 of the two track song "Darkening Council" on the new record, is an orchestral piece. And yeah, I mean, when I wrote it, even the producer was kind of like, "Man, I don't know about this song. It's sort of
it's different. It's a lot different from your stuff. It, like when you listen to it, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this."
Yeah.
You went from playing this metal to this kind of real, like, wow, it's kind of like, it's like a lead into telling the next song, the story to the next song.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So like, so the last track on the record, Darkening Council Part 2, Inquisition, is actually, it comes from the book of Job, like the last few chapters of the book of Job, almost straight out of there. As a matter of fact, the first and last lyrics in the song are quoted directly from the book of Job, but then the rest in the middle is sort of a paraphrase that I adapted. So thematically it all tells the story. Like, to me, the overture, which is track 8, is sort of the arrival of the final voice on the album Voices, and that voice, of course, is God. So I feel like he kind of needs a big processional. He needs a big overture as he arrives to speak, and he speaks in that song, and then it sort of, if a person is like you said, is a music nerd and they listen back through, they'll hear that those different themes in that orchestral piece kind of come back out during the last track, and then it wraps back up with that same musical theme. So I love that kind of stuff. I'm a big fan of bands like Dream Theater, and I'm a music geek. So I was in choir and stuff like that when I was in school and even in college. And I think that's something that makes the music that I do resonate with some people a lot more, but also alienates our music from more of the, whatever you want to call it, general market.
Yeah.
So.
But that's what makes it so unique, is you have these kind of metal elements, these instrumental stuff, but then you come to that and it's like the storytelling element that kind of throws people for a loop. And if you're like driving your car like me and all of a sudden it comes on, you're just like, the first time I heard it, I was like, whoa, all right, this is different. And you kind of let it, and all of a sudden you're like, the last song is like 13, 14 minutes long. And you're just like, wow, that was a pretty insane song. And he like went through this huge, like all these lyrics and like all this writing and stuff like that. And that's why I want to ask you, because I didn't know like the basis behind it all. And so that's why I wanted to kind of know, like, I wasn't aware that it was like the last chapters of Job and stuff like that, that really, it kind of makes it go full circle for me, because it's something, because even your very first album you did with the Belmont Family Curse, you did that. You had an orchestrated kind of song leading into a final song that had lyrics to it. And so that's why, like, I didn't know if you were kind of keeping the albums kind of like mirrored albums. No, like people get really geeky. Like you can like get a Radiohead album, and if you take the alternate songs, it creates like this whole story kind of plot. And there's all these music geeks. I didn't know if there was like correlations why you were doing certain things, or.
No, I didn't think that. I didn't think that deeply into it. And as a matter of fact, I don't want to let anybody down, because the last 2 tracks on the first album actually are both instrumentals. So there's no lyrics to that one. And on this one, I put the video game instrumental in the middle of the album instead of at the end. So actually, no, I didn't have any deep plans with it. I just, it made sense for me that like with this album, the voices that are speaking throughout the album, sort of the different things that I'm struggling with in my own life, or the different voices that are trying to influence my thoughts or my mind, they all culminate ultimately in this epic moment that happens in the book of Job, which is the oldest story we have in the Bible. It's pretty amazing. Where God sort of just says like, hey, who are you to be asking all these questions? And I feel like that's just the ultimate ending. Now, I mean, I know some people though, you're listening to it and you're like, oh wow, man, this is so different and unique. There have been several reviews of the record who've said like they got 4 songs in. They thought it was pretty cool. Then they got to that 5th song where it's the weird video game, like the Mega Man instrumental. And they just felt like the whole album falls apart after that because it just becomes a weird, meandering, like nonsense kind of album. Like none of the songs make any sense. There's a video game song, and then there's like, you know, a 80s new wave song, and then there's like a epic orchestral piece, and then a 12-minute song. And most people don't have the attention span for that kind of thing. And I guess what I'm saying is I am glad to hear you say that you were along for the journey. And I feel like that's what I wanted people to do, was just sort of like almost sit down and just experience it as something different, rather than judging it as like, oh, well, you know, normally I like to listen to 3-minute songs with big breakdowns, you know, and catchy choruses. I'm like, I would want people to take this more as a trip to the opera or the symphony or something and just try to experience it that way.
Well, like as an artist, I don't think you should have to necessarily listen to what all the critics have to say, because in my opinion, you're putting out what you feel to be the best work that you're capable of doing, and putting out what you're happy and content with. It's not like someone going to Picasso and saying, hey, Picasso, I loved when you did this type of painting. I want you to do more of it because that's your most popular piece. He just did artwork to do artwork and just let the people love it for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not,
and let it enjoy. But that's
Picasso,
the artistic side of me that sees things. And honestly, like, it would be phenomenal because of how those last 2 songs are, to have a whole album that has that sort of vibe to it. Like, there was I can't remember the name of the band. I've been trying to think of it, that a while back did kind of like an instrumental piece to the Book of Revelation, where they went, it was like 16 chapters long, and each song was like 3-4 minutes. And it kind of had this orchestrated vibe to the Book of Revelation to it. There was no lyrics, but like they had the chapter and the title from the NIV, and it kind of led into this like culmination of like, so you can kind of almost hear these songs kind of escalate and have climaxes and decreases depending on what's going on in the chapter. So if you kind of read through it while you're listening to it, it kind of all kind of comes together, where they didn't say any of the lyrics. But
you got to read fast.
You read, yeah, you have to kind of, but you know what the like. The
3 minutes per chapter, that's all you got.
Know what the chapter's about. You kind of have that already kind of mindset of what's going on. So I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It's been like probably 12, 15 years ago. It was like this kind of no-name metal band that kind of did this kind of like experimental thing. And so,
yeah,
but it'd be super rad if you loved that, to like put that out there as like a self-produced sort of piece that wasn't record label, but just something that you can have 4, 5, 6 songs where it's just like 12, 15 minutes of this like epic instrumental storytelling sort of vibe to it, that people can just kind of almost podcast chill out to. Yeah. Where you just kind of like, you don't have to necessarily sit there and bang your head, but like this kind of has this kind of cinematic feel to it. But
I could read I could do my version of the Bible. I could just read it and it'd be Matthew chapter 1. You know,
well, you could have you heard the Streetlights?
Orchestral stuff? It'd be like a 700-minute album. It'd be epic.
Have you heard of the Streetlights? The Streetlights Bible? They're based out of Chicago. It's a few guys who did kind of hip hop versions where they read each chapter. I would suggest it's like hip hop kind of R&B sort of influence. They have a little bit of like electronic. They have some pretty rad stuff where they've gone through the whole New Testament and they've written music and they self-produce it and they put it out. You can listen to it for free from their app. It's called Streetlights, the Streetlights app. And it's all them. It's kind of like spoken word a little bit. It has like a spoken word element to it, but with kind of like track music behind it, where they're reading like verbatim from the Bible, like each chapter. And they've spent a lot of time doing it, but it's really well done. Really well done.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Well, with all that being said, anybody who is watching this now or watching this in the near future, give everybody kind of a glimpse where they could find your stuff at, listen to it, support you guys, go and see you guys live, because I know you're going to be kind of doing the festival circuit sort of tour thing coming up here spring, summer. Where can people find you guys at, other than at Death Therapy on Instagram? Like, where can they find out all things Death Therapy at?
Yeah, totally. I mean, our music is everywhere at this point. So it's on all the streaming platforms. It's on all the digital platforms. It's on
Napster.
Yeah, of course. It's on LimeWire, and you can maybe steal it, rip it from MySpace. Um, no, it's iTunes and all those other ones that are out there, Amazon Music, Google Play. But it's also, you can buy it from our store, which is a link. There's a link in our bio. Buy it from our store, and buy from the record label Solid State Records. You can get it anywhere you want to. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. People can come check out whatever we got. I mean, we're on YouTube. We've got everything out there. So we are a real band. We're trying.
What's the one place they could really go to support you guys that's going to help put money into your pocket? That's what I want to direct everybody to. You could stream them on Spotify and Amazon Music, but like purchasing something, that's what supports you guys the most, and it helps feed your kids. Where can they go to help feed your kids?
To PayPal, and they can just send it to just shoot me over some cash.
Cash App, yeah.
Yeah, no, well, if like I say, if you go to our bio on Instagram or go to Facebook and click on the Shop Now button or whatever, it'll take you to my personal store that I run. So you're buying it directly from me. So if you want a CD and you want me to autograph it, I'll send it to you, and that all comes directly from me. Yes, that does put money in my pocket faster, but at the end of the day, if that's not your thing, whatever people can do, just if you stream it. Just turn it on before you go to bed every night, and put it on a loop and stream it 5 times a night. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That's
find you guys live. That's a big way too.
All right,
support you guys live.
Yeah, so we're gonna be playing. Creation Festival in Pennsylvania. We'll be playing Audio Feed Festival. That's 4th of July weekend. We'll be playing Life Fest, which is the weekend after that. We'll be playing Rock the Desert Festival, which is in Midland, Texas. We'll be playing Uprise Festival, which is in Pennsylvania again. Kingdom Come Festival in June in Indiana. Lots of stuff. So we'll be posting about all that stuff. So
So find where anybody that sees us now or in the near future, find where these guys are at. Make sure that they don't just have 1 or 2 people at their their stage. Bring your friends, drag your parents so that they can hear and get into them.
Bring your pets.
Bring your pets. Bring them barbecue and Dr. Peppers.
Dr. Pepper, please.
Dr. Peppers and barbecue.
Sounds good.
But thank you for joining us tonight, Jason. I really appreciate it. I know you've been crazy busy the last week, and you've been traveling a bunch. I really, truly appreciate you joining us for the time and taking time away from your family. I'm taking away time from my family. I hear my kids romping around somewhere upstairs too. So thank you. You have a fan for life here. Anything we could do to help you, we're here to support you guys, pray for you guys, and keep you guys rolling. So
totally. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Take care.